So let me first say thanks to Joav, and he's going to introduce himself, tell you a little bit about what he does at CA, and then we'll talk a little bit about the topic and why we chose this topic in the first place.
Thanks for the intro. Yeah, my name is Joav Bally. I'm the VP of Analytics at CA Technologies, right down the street. It's a fairly new business unit for CA. What we are doing is based on our core competency at CA, which is in the areas of application performance management, security, infrastructure management, DevOps, to see how can we actually apply data science and analytic techniques to make more out of the data than what we are doing with the data today.
Okay. So Joe, I think one of the questions that everybody has in their mind, obviously this is not a full quote, we just shortened it, that is data maturing like wine, and maybe you can complete the rest as well. And then we can dive into why we chose that topic in the first place.
Good, I don't know, does somebody know the second half? Data matures like wine? The second half, oh, thank you very much.
Let's give it a big hand.
So the full quote is, data is maturing like wine and applications like fish.
He didn't complete.
But I was told there are too many application software sponsors at that conference, so we kept it with the first part. But as we think about it, why we wanted to have this discussion, think about data today, and everybody knows the statistic that the world's data is doubling in size every 2 years. But still, our attention span is shortened. My attention span nowadays is 140 characters. That's it, right? If you're not able to communicate with me in 140 characters, you lost me. And data is created in a speed that, it is created, analyzed, consumed, and forgotten within split seconds. But still, we store all that data. And the question is actually, why do we do that? Why, if we are not using it, why do we storing all that data? And I think for the entrepreneurs in this room, this is really the idea that I want to spark in your head, that think about the power of data. We are storing it for a reason. And my personal opinion is, the reason is, if we are looking at the evolution of analytics as a whole, we are actually crossing a new type of maturity, whereas the traditional BI and analytics market was more in the descriptive and diagnostic space. We are now moving into the predictive and prescriptive. And as human beings learn based on the past and based on experience and learning from others, from their mistakes or what went well for them, same with data, right? I really like the example with the bear in the kitchen that the colleague from Facebook brought up. If I would get a video like that at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, he said he called the police, I wouldn't know what to do. I didn't know, do I call the police because what do I tell them? Is I have a bear in the kitchen? It's strange, right? We have the technology. Actually, what Dropcan can do, and they can have that IP that I'm sharing now with them, is they should analyze that there's a bear in the kitchen. We have the technology. Analyzing videos is not that tough. And then what did others do? Oh, they called 911. Cool. Do you want to initiate a 911 call? That's what others have done. Yeah. So that's where we are really making use of all the data. Now it's a great video on the phone. Unfortunately, it was gone too fast. I couldn't see it. But that's how we learn. I learned from others, especially at 2:30 a.m. in the morning. I want to know what others did. So for me, yes, clearly, I think data is maturing like wine, and we have to capture it. And especially Facebook is doing a great job. They in their evolution, they matured from being a app company, we do some funny stuff with, and really being a data platform and opening up that data for whatever people want to do with that. I'm not sure if I would ask Facebook today if they would say we are still an app company, right? Most likely not.
Yeah, I think it's, you said it right. I mean, Facebook is really all about data, right? Facebook is probably one of the biggest data companies. But when people think of CA, they don't think of CA as a data company, therefore the analytics kind of don't really jive in the minds of people right away. In fact, CA is more of an applications company. So what is CA doing in this field, and why is this even relevant, and what section are you taking?
Good question. I don't have many friends of CA whenever I bring the fish analogy, but what we are doing is again, in areas like security, we have a pretty fantastic product in risk analysis that is actually doing fraud detection on e-commerce credit card transaction. We have a very, very knowledgeable data science team. We have captured data for a very long time, and we are applying behavioral analytics on capturing buying behavior and figuring out, is that a fraudulent transaction or not? Another great product that we have is in the mobile analytics space, where we are analyzing behavior of users with their mobiles and with their mobile device and the applications on it. And we are capturing that data as well. So yeah, these are two apps benefiting from data. Now, we all know that one of the biggest trends out there is mobile payment. So the data that we are capturing about behavior in applications, mobile applications, and behavior with your credit card, as this will move together, we will achieve a network effect. That's what I mean with applications are, maturing like fish. Tomorrow, who knows what type of applications will be out there? Mm-hmm. But by capturing the data, tearing down the data silos, having the network effect across applications with the data. That's what Facebook and Twitter and others do so perfectly. This is where the real value will come from. And with smart data scientists, we will be able to build many more applications that we can capitalize on.
Okay. First of all, I don't know if any of you have any questions, and if you do, right at the bottom, you can text your question by texting JK to that number, and we'll be able to take some of the questions. So let me just change the topic a little bit. And, to a lot of people, in Silicon Valley, it seems like big data equals Hadoop. Is that your definition? And if not, why not?
Let me see if somebody's a sponsor there. Not sure. I don't want to get into trouble again. So
there was a keynote speaker from Cloudera in the morning.
So big data and so Hadoop is a technology to tackle a certain set of problems within the big data space. I think it is a phenomenal technology, and I think there are a lot of companies that have built great products around this technology. But again, before I jump to any conclusion, looking into some of the things we at CA are doing, not everything that has to do with data and data analytics nowadays is a big data problem, right? Many of the things that we are doing, especially if they need instant resolution, so data is created, analytics is happening, resolution is provided, maybe Hadoop is not the right solution, right? Mm-hmm. If the data is very structured, like in credit card fraud payment, rational databases do a great job in providing the analytics, right? The analytics is in the algorithm, in the models, in the predictions, in the behavioral analysis that we are doing. So don't jump to conclusion in terms of technology. Look at the use case, analyze what the users need, analyze the data, very important. If it's very structured, if it's a similar set of problems every time, maybe it's not, right? But again, for what the cases that again, the colleague from Facebook did, or some of the other cases, yeah, it's a great technology. It's absolutely good, right? But again, business and use cases is driving technology, not the other way around.
So you're telling me that SQL is still not dead, huh?
No, far from that. Okay. Far from that.
Because at every conference I go like this, there is always SQL is dead is kind of the first statement and it ends with that.
I haven't heard that, but I attended at a previous conference one that was called "Is OLAP Dead?" And I'm happy you didn't ask me that question.
Okay, I don't think we have time to get the answer to that question. So I think a lot of times in the big data world, in the analytics world, for most people it has become like dashboard is everything. They think of this as a dashboard-only problem, which it is really not. It goes way beyond that. So can you give some examples from any of your customer situations or what you have encountered, which sort of gives a better perspective to people beyond dashboard? What does the role of big data really is?
So dashboard is okay, let's start differently. If you have a lot of data, big data, our mind cannot really capture everything. Again, I'm not able to capture more than 140 characters. So how do you actually bring the data to the attention of the user is very important, right? You need to aggregate the data and basically present it in a way that users can make sense. And the first generation of analytics addressed that problem with reports and dashboards, and that was great. I think the paradigm that needs to change is, in the big data space, you cannot expect human beings to browse through all the data and draw conclusions inside and then basically take action to it. It's just too much. We can't do it. Again, the world's data is doubling every 2 years. There's no way any human being can, with his mind, go through that data. So dashboard is once, but the data that we present there the paradigm shift needs to happen. The computers need to compute, analyze, predict, do whatever we can do with current data science methodologies to produce valuable insights and even prescribe certain actions to that data. And if you do that in a way that's actually visually appealing and intuitive enough, dashboards are absolutely important. If we continue to have dashboards as exploratory tool of data, especially in the big data space, we'll run into trouble.
So one last question before we wrap the session. So what, obviously there is a lot of talk about, like you said it rightly, that it's all about data, it's not about the application. So how do you see the enterprise architectures changing to sort of deal with this new reality as it comes on where, because all of us, I think many people here in this room have spent years working on SAP and working on all kinds of different applications, and suddenly we are kind of giving them a warning that your career may be coming to an end, and you got to prepare for a new reality. And so how do you see that changing in the future?
So I actually think their careers are elevating rather than coming to an end. That's the good news. And I don't think it's anyone's fault, right? The architecture of analytics in the past has been the best one that we had so far, right? With topics like big data and cloud and data science and mobility and IoT will even, add another exponential to that topic. Paradigms are changing. Networks of effect of data need to happen. Data correlation need to happen so that data scientists can do their work. So my request would be that we should stop thinking in data silos. We need to tear down the data silos, and newer concepts like data lakes are showing us a way on how that could work. So I don't think that the data that has the work that has been done in the past has been bad. I think it has prepared us for where we are right now. And now the companies that will win and the new startups that will succeed will be the one who makes sense out of that data, tear down the data silos, correlate the data, and provide valuable insights in split seconds.
So one last question. So what would you advise startup entrepreneurs or people who want to look at companies? Is there any space you would recommend within this which looks like a white space that they should go after?
Anything but CA's core market, because then I don't have a job anytime soon. No, on a serious note, everything which has to do with data science, big data is a hot space, and we can do a lot of good and a lot of damage, especially in the security space. Let me give you one example if we have the time. There was a bank that wanted to see what data scientists can do with certain credit card data. So they completely anonymized all the credit card transaction and put it out there for everybody to use and to see if they can detect buying behaviors and just come up with upsell opportunities for certain people. So a team of very smart data scientists took that anonymized data, no name, no credit card number, no nothing. They were able to correlate 90% of people and name exactly who that person was They did that by correlating the data with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, because we are so keen to post pictures of us buying a new shoe in some mall. You know, they knew exactly where the store was. So let's see who bought new shoes, who put that out on Twitter, Instagram, and so on. Over 90%. Scary, yeah. Creepy, definitely. But also a huge opportunity for all of us to think of the power. We have the technology, we have the data. It's our imagination and creativity to do something with that.
Thank you very much. Let's give him a big hand. So I think there's a break now, right, for 15 minutes? Yeah, break for 15 minutes, and then we'll be back here in this room.